And we're back to another podcast episode. Now, you had to start the podcast هيك يعني نص الميكروفون مع المي لازم يعني make ما يعني
I'm
the
just trying
whole
to be
three
like
seconds
Ahmed, bro.
Evan. Ahmed has to gargle that water, bro. That's the one. We'll get right into it today, Badr. Here is my. I was watching a TV show today. Not a TV show. I was watching a video on like TikTok, a short, and they were talking about like athletes and actors. And this guy was saying, "Oh yeah, I can like look at a crowd of people and athletes, and I can tell you exactly who's on steroids." And then he
Okay.
was asked about a very well-known, famous athlete, or not athlete, actor, and the guy was like, "No, no way, he's on steroids." And it's so clearly obvious that he
He
was.
is on steroids.
He is okay. So it got me thinking today, and I just want to start like prefacing this by like getting right back to the roots of steroids or where it was all originating from.
Yeah.
So we take a time machine back to 1970s, and we start talking about like East Germany. All right. So
Okay.
doping, the first like real scandal of doping or steroids in sports and things like that was actually like the Olympics with the East German team. Now, what happened was like East Germany was like, part of like, as East and West Germany came about, East Germany was part of, almost like a de facto like Soviet nation.
The
Okay.
poorer end of things.
Yeah, the poor end of things, as you'd say. And one of their ways of like legitimizing themselves was saying, well, okay, we have sports. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna crush it in sports, and we're gonna like look real legitimate, and that we're gonna win all these sports. Okay.
Yeah.
So they enlisted this guy, Manfred Ewald. Okay. And basically, what he made it was like, if you're an athlete, you're going to compete, but you have to be on roids. You have to be on steroids. You have to dope. And, he was actually trialed for this many, many years later in 2009. And basically, he was saying that,
2009.
yeah, so they really came after him for it, like for human
That's a
rights abuse, because
long
like
time
they were
later.
doping on teenagers and stuff, and like kids and things like that. And basically, he was saying, I've had approval to the highest levels for this doping.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, what you can imagine is that imagine you're the only team going to the Olympics with steroids.
Just fully roided up.
Oh, bro. Apparently, like, there's a really good documentary about it. They were saying, like, yeah, like, we saw some of the women take their shirts off, and like they look like men. Like they were just cooking it. Women shot put cooking, like javelin
Yeah.
cooking, volleyball cook up, weightlifting, absolute murder. It
Just
was a cook up on
beasts.
all levels, okay? And they came out and they found out they were doping and all that stuff. So that's all the good stuff that happened. Now, you fast forward to today, right?
Hmm.
You get like every 3, 4, 5 years, you get a new athlete that comes out, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's on steroids!" Like, I can't believe, like,
I'm
this
so
happened.
shooketh.
Like Lance Armstrong, who had like some sort of like testicular cancer and stuff like that. Didn't he? I don't know if he got testicles removed or not.
I think he got one of his testicles removed.
So yeah, and then like he comes back and he's still winning, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm doping." Now, granted, I was saying he was doping before this whole thing, and people looked at me like I like I'm pro cancer or something like that. Like, how dare you? Lance
Yeah.
Armstrong had cancer. Like
He's
they're
a
talking to
cancer
me as if,
survivor. Why are you bashing him?
oh, 100%. Like they were talking to me as if I was like the guy who like injected him with this like cancer serum or something like that. I was
Yeah.
like, no, I just like he's cooking it. And then he came out and said, well, like he had this thing, I don't know what it was called, like Icarus or something like that, or I can't remember what it was called on Netflix.
No, it
But he
wasn't
was
Icarus.
saying like,
Icarus was a movie, but like a
yeah,
documentary. But it was
yeah.
similar. Like a guy tried to do doping to see if he can improve drastically in his times.
It's like it's ridiculous. People, he was saying basically in his documentary, Lance Armstrong, like every single athlete, like if you were to take out all the athletes from like the top, say, find the guy who wasn't doping, you'd have to get to like the 52nd place or something like that.
Yeah. Something crazy.
And so like I was thinking about this, and why is there still, if every single sport we have unanimously agreed that every single sport has doping in it, okay? Every
Yeah.
sport, all of them. If you're a professional getting paid in sports, you're doping. But I want to understand, like I want to get your opinion from it. Where do you see this big stigma in it still. If everyone everyone knows about it, nobody talks about it, but there's still this huge stigma to say that I take steroids and this. Like I just want to understand, like from from your perspective, you're fairly into sports. Like where do you see this as an issue? Where do you see this as like why the stigma is still there?
Well, because then you're not then like why would you want to have steroids in a sport, right? Like, what is your argument to having it in there? You're saying everyone's already doing it anyways.
Yes.
Okay, but the problem is maybe a lot of them are doing it, especially in those like strength and endurance related like sports. I'm assuming most of them would probably be doing it. Like you said, Lance Armstrong said like the top 50 are probably doing it, but the way they're cycling it is whenever they're about to get tested, you'll never find out.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things there. I was talking to some of the athletes I knew back when I was coaching and in this thing. So what they were explaining to me is that steroid usage and steroid testing. Imagine like steroid usage wrapped to the iPhone 14X, right?
Yeah.
Steroid testing is still the iPhone 3G.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So it's like, and they've tried
But
to
then
come.
like it's tough to have steroids in sports because you're not creating like an even playing field, right?
Well, it is even. Everyone's taking it.
Not everyone. You're not like you're saying the top of the top are probably taking it in that specific sports. Like if it comes to cycling, long distance cycling, then yeah, probably.
I would
But do
be.
you think
This
most
is.
guys in the NBA are roiding?
I would say like I don't want to like bag out the guys in the NBA, but I would be very hot. Okay, so let's stop. Let's step aside from NBA. Take NFL. Let's start with the easier option. Do you
Yeah, okay,
believe
but
there's
The
steroids in the
NFL is a
NFL?
very strength dependent sport.
Okay, so but cycling is
But
not strength
that's like
dependent.
baseball.
Endurance cycling.
Baseball was huge. Like there was a huge roid problem in baseball.
Jose Canseco was the guy. Like they made him the poster child for steroids, and he's like, oh yeah, everyone's doing it, whether you're
Yeah, yeah.
big, small, whatever.
He threw everyone under the bus.
Yeah, but see, that's the whole thing. Like everyone's doing it, right? And people have this this thought that like if I take steroids, I'm a big guy, I'm super strong, I'm a big freak, and it's like not about that. I'm gonna tell you, there's this serum you can inject into your body that, if managed well, will give you some to no side effects. You'll have some side effects possibly, but if you take it incorrectly, you don't do the whole,
Under the
maybe you
supervision
react
of like a professional.
of a professional exactly. And you're getting paid to do this. This is your professional sport, right?
Mm,
And everyone's going to do it. You are no longer competitive in your sport, no matter how talented you are. But you are the world's best person who can throw this ball. You're the most accurate person who can throw this ball.
yeah,
But there's going to be a guy who can just bet 10, 15 kilometers more than you every single pitch, and
yeah,
he's going to recover twice as fast as you.
yeah,
Like that's a big thing where people don't get. Steroids helps you recover faster. That's like the
yeah,
whole thing. And that's where the whole like strength aspect comes from. One guy was talking about it. He was saying what steroids is like. Basically, imagine you're doing this like super super strong like strength program. I'm going to be able to max out every single day because I'm on steroids, and I'm going to recover like 4 times as fast as you. So I'm going to be
yeah,
able to hit. I'm going to be able to like break down my muscle more. I'm going to be able to like get those bigger numbers because I'm able to like recover faster than you.
yeah,
That's basically what steroids is. So
yeah,
basically, I'm a pitcher. I'm gonna be able to do 12. Like I'm gonna do it today in training. I'm gonna do 600 pitches rather than your 300 or your
yeah.
400 because I
And the
recovered
next
just
day,
as
I'm
much
still
better
gonna
than you.
do 300 again. When you're gonna go up to 350, maybe 400.
Exactly. Like it's incomparable. Like that's where the level of sport. Like I'm hard pressed. You're saying it's not in every
So
sport.
would
Like
you advocate like for everyone to do roids?
I'm not advocating anything. I'm just saying
Well, you sound like you
this
want
is.
people to do roids.
I like listen. I'm not saying anyone should or shouldn't do. I'm a realist in this game, right?
Yeah,
There's steroids aren't going anywhere, okay? Like, and it's just it goes to show that like people are getting stronger, people are getting faster, we're breaking world records. So what's that showing? Our human maybe okay, human nutrition is getting better, humans are getting bigger because of selective breeding of whatnot, no issues. But
yeah,
also a big factor of that is our ability to take drugs to help us is improving.
yeah, true. And the
And I
drugs that we're
don't.
taking are way better.
Oh yeah, like we're not taking that Soviet era garbage anymore. We're taking the heavy hitter
We're
stuff,
taking
bro.
that premium Mossad stuff, bro.
Oh, bro, we're hitting the heavy stuff. That's the heavy stuff. And like, bro, it's like it's an item after item after item. We're getting better. We're getting better after iterations. We're learning how to take it better. Like, what's the big drama here? Like, everyone's doing it, and like, I still
I
think
still
there's a
think
big
I
stigma in it.
think it's mainly for like to have an even playing field. Yes, you might say the majority are doing it regardless, but then you just allow it. Then let everyone do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only option you have. You either still try to control it and ban it. You improve your testing to fit, like, instead of you're testing at an iPhone 3G level, like you're testing at an iPhone 14 Pro Max now. You know what I mean? Like, you have to improve that in order to like have more control over the situation.
So do they? But do they even want to control the situation?
But it depends. It depends on the sport, bro. Like, I don't know. I think certain sports, like I like, I'm sure there's like, I'm sure the field of steroids is very vast, and I have very minor to no knowledge about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's certain like roids that help with like recovery, muscle building, all that. They're not all the same. Like, each one has a specific purpose. Like, maybe some of them like increase lung capacity and shit like that. So it's all case dependent, right? But I think mainly it is to have an even playing field. Like, you
Now,
can't
like,
you either say everyone can do it or no one can do it.
so do you know? Do you think there's a sport out there that would not benefit from steroids?
Chess,
You could take Ritalin.
yeah, you could take Ritalin, yeah, just for like focus.
You could take
Um,
there were only sports I was thinking about. Like, where does the recovery and like speed and like I don't know, maybe fencing. I don't know. Like fencing might be something.
I think yeah, but like there's agility, like they have agility. They like, it does require some sort of
It
stamina.
required a lot, but like I don't know, like how much faster could you actually be? Like like that's
I
like
don't know
how
what,
much
like
twitchier
table
can you be?
tennis, bro.
I think table tennis has doping in it. It's one of those things like rotator cuff injuries, all that stuff. I think
You
like,
reckon?
oh yeah,
I don't know. I like it's I you can definitely tell now though, like it's becoming, even in just general lifting culture, it's become a lot more normalized than stigmatized as it used to be.
yeah. So we're hitting now. I feel like we're moving into this generation, right? Or this like this whole era, I would say, where people who were taking steroids before, right? This is maybe let's
Yeah,
say 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. When I first got into like lifting, people who were taking steroids were doing it to be competitive or be competitors.
yeah,
Okay. Nowadays, people are like willing to spend them, and that's because like it was cost restrictive. By the way, that's because like it was very expensive to get onto it.
yeah,
Now the
and hard to
cost has
get,
come
hard
down.
to get a hold of.
Yeah. So now we're saying it's way easier to get. It's way more accessible. The price is still cheaper, to get some of the basic stuff, I would say. It's
Hmm.
cheaper. And people are doing it. So, like, especially people in like their 20s and 30s are like, well, let's think about it. Like, I want to say, I want to look better. I want to be a little bit better at my local jujitsu. I want to be, I want to be a
Yeah,
little bit stronger. They're willing to take it now, and just for the sake of being able to be a little bit more successful in their own small little world.
yeah. They do
So
have
that's
they do have long term side effects though, don't they?
so again, it's like,
Like, I'm
for
sure if you're a
example.
guy, in your 50s, you've already like popped out the kids. Like, you're cooling now. You're in
Oh,
like
100%.
like you're in the last stretches. You're like, fuck it, I'm gonna like get longevity, like feel better, look better for longer. Yeah, I'll probably start taking roids.
So like I would think of it like this. Like steroid usage now, obviously you need like if you're taking this under the guidance of like an actual like hormone therapist or a doctor or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know how beneficial, and I think that's between you and your doctor how much they would say for you to do and not do. I would
yeah,
say somebody, for example, like Liver King when he came out, I would say he is spending a hell of a lot of money on steroids, and
yeah.
he's getting the
He's
best.
spending like tens of thousands a month.
Yeah, and he's like, and I think he's getting the very best of what you can
Yeah, but see,
afford
that's a
on
prime
steroids.
example. That's a prime example of like the stigma that is around steroids, right?
100%.
So this
Why
dude's
was
been
he stigmatized?
roiding for ages,
Yeah,
right? And me and you
yeah.
had this discussion before where you're like, bro, just look at his midsection, how it's just bulged out, like his intestines feel like they're gonna rip through his abs. Like, you're like,
Just look
this
at his
dude's
pecs,
definitely on
bro.
roids.
Just look at
Yeah.
his shoulders, look at his delts, look at all that, bro. It's like there's
But
something
then
up. Like he
for
doesn't look
him to
natural.
be constantly pressed about it and stay in denial, like, no, I'm not doing it. No, I'm
But
not doing
why
it.
would he deny it? What's his benefit of denying it?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's still the stigma around it. The stigma still does exist.
So, but why is there a stigma from him? He's not a competitor. So you're saying
He's
it's
not a
for an
competitor,
even playing
exactly.
field. So
He
what's
wants to
like?
what,
Why would
claim
he
that
lie
he's
about it?
natty. I don't know why he cares if like he's natty
So
or not.
I will tell you like I will tell you like why my theory for this. I think that first of all, people will still take away from you even if you're on steroid. They'll be like, oh yeah, like to taking steroids is not just like I'm gonna pump some like steroids in me. I'm gonna be like immediately looking like that guy. I've seen dudes take steroids, get into it, and just get fat. I've literally
Yeah,
seen this
yeah,
because they're not doing anything. They just didn't work out. They did nothing that was actually required. The second thing is, I think for especially Liver King, who is selling a supplement, who is selling something
true.
like as of a lifestyle, he's trying to market this lifestyle. Your all natural, chemical free, I turn my Wi Fi off at night lifestyle looks way worse when you're taking $20,000 a month of steroids. I think
Yeah,
that's
true.
less appealing. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, if he prefaced that, I would honestly say it would have gone better for him if he just came out, listen, I'm on steroids, but I also do this. Just because I don't say what he's doing is right. I don't say what he's doing is wrong, but I would say like there's benefits to his lifestyle, definitely. I think there's a lot of good what you can take from that. Maybe the steroid things is like, I still think you would have still had that same following if you didn't look like that. I think that's the
probably. I
case.
think he would have still have.
Yeah.
He has a fairly large fan base.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think the people like those who knew, like those who know. But like, I think he would have had betrayed some people at the very least. Would be like, oh my god, Liver King, he's on
How
roids. Like,
could he? He lied
how
to
could
us.
he? Now, if you didn't think he was on steroids, I think you need to get an IQ
You need to
test,
get your
bro,
eyes
because you're
checked, bro.
lacking. Oh, you need to get a lot checked, bro. Fucking, you need a lot. You're lacking chromosomes, I reckon. If you didn't think he was on steroids, that's regardless of the point. The other example I have, right, is there was a fairly popular, I'm not going to name the show, there was a fairly popular Greek Roman fighting show that came up a long time ago,
Yeah.
2007, 8, none of this kind of era. And I was talking to one of the actors on this show who was a background guy on this show. He wasn't the main actor, but he was a background guy on the show, and he was very oily most of the time. He was very,
Oily.
he looked good in the
Lubed up.
show. And he was telling me, I was like, so what is like, what do you reckon? He's like, oh, bro, I'm on gear. I'm like, okay. This was like very quickly into the
Just
conversation.
outright
Hey, it was out, and I was like, I appreciate that because you're not selling me fucking dreams.
selling a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was telling me like, listen, everybody on that show, everybody that looked anything remotely like me was on gear. And how I know is because either I saw them needle up during the production and it was like not even like no one blinked an eye. No
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
even batted an eye. Everyone was just like, this is the most normal thing ever. Or they discuss it afterwards and be like, yeah, what's your stack, bro? I've got this and that and that and this, whatever.
In all fairness, when you go, even if you go here to most gyms, most like proper lifting gyms, a lot of the dudes are on gear, bro.
100%, bro.
Bro,
It's
I remember when
very,
I used to live in Kuwait, we used to have a gym, like one of those like dingy, like men only, like straight up big, big dudes, bro. I'm talking
you
like
gotta be big fellas only.
300 pounds, dude. They're like fucking 5'8", 300 pounds, just jacked.
Whop. You gotta get the whoppers in there.
So in the parking lot behind the house, you'd always find needles, bro.
100%. They're just
Yeah,
shooting each other up in the butt,
dudes
bro.
just
That's the way.
shooting each other up in the parking lots.
Yeah, bro. Like it's like for them, bro. It's just such a like it's such a normal part of life, bro. Like it's
And
such a
you're
normal
talking
part
like
of their day.
15, 16 years ago.
Yeah, I mean that's and bro, I think it's like even become like in certain areas, like in Gold Coast, for example, roids is like the most common thing ever. Like I don't think anyone's surprised. Like you've got to have that like you can have that gym look where you take your roids, you got to get your teeth bleached, and you got to get some melanotan. I think that's the quintessential Gold Coast look, bro.
The Gold Coast look.
And bro, even bro, and people like you'd be surprised, bro, how many women take steroids as well.
Oh yeah,
You'd be surprised. I don't
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
that's even like freaks people out.
I always get this one dude on TikTok, like he's at a gym in the U.S. and he'll ask people randomly. He's like, "Oh, so what are you on? Like, are you natural or like are you
Oh
taking?"
yeah, Kenny KO.
Yeah, and they're all
Yeah,
like, "No, no, I'm on
he's
this, this, and this."
yeah, because bro, like now I had an issue with steroids, right? My only issue with steroids, I don't care if you take it, don't take it. I think if you're a professional athlete, I think you probably like should be on something because like that's just the nature of the sport. If you want to feed your family, probably should get on something or just be born a genetic freak. If you're not born a genetic freak and you have to work really hard, probably that's your second option.
Yeah,
There's your like there are two choices. But I was like talking to this guy about like, the same guy about like Hollywood and how people look and how they, how muscular they are. And he was talking and he's like, people are delusional to think that these actors that take these big roles for superheroes and super, whatever it is,
yeah,
to think that these guys are that big and that muscular at that age
yeah,
without steroids.
yeah,
It's
yeah. It's wild.
comical to
It's
think.
yeah, it is.
And people always ask me, like, Jude, what would you do? Would you ever do it? At this point, no. But once
I
I thought,
one day the one day is coming.
no, 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 no. I'm not saying the one day is coming. I'm just
Jude's
saying
gonna
when I
disappear
get
for like
old,
6 months,
I'm
come
coming
back
out,
like
bro. I'm coming out
100
looking like
pounds
I'm
heavier,
gonna look
bro.
like I'm gonna look like Tyson out of prison, bro. That's what it's coming. It's coming, bro.
Just straight up ready to rip some necks off, bro.
Bro, like Joe Rogan, he's open about it. I kind of like his approach where he's like, listen, I'm over 45, 50 now.
He takes a
I'm
crazy
now
amount of roids though.
no, so he just takes testosterone, and like when you're over 40, your testosterone, the amount of testosterone your body
Naturally
produces
drops,
is
yeah.
like, yeah, it just naturally drops. So he's like, why? I'm just gonna inject that, and he's like, I'm open about it. And like my big issue, what I was actually gonna say was that like I don't like it when you're looking huge and you look really good, and you try to sell a supplement like oh, I'm not a sponsored athlete and it's because of this fish oil and this protein powder that I look like this.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
bro,
yeah, bro. I'm just like
fish oil,
fish oil,
baby.
really, really, bro.
Oh yeah,
Magnesium.
bro.
I'm just taking magnesium, zinc, and
But
calcium.
only this is
Just.
my brand of magnesium, this one right here, bro. This is the one this is why I'm looking like this,
But I
bro.
think I think that's a large reason why Liver King didn't want to like admit that he was on roids.
100%, 100%. Like, and if he says anything other than that, oh, I was just dishonest and I was ashamed and mental health,
Well,
I'm like, bro,
his to be fair, like his reasoning was just wild.
that's
His
not
like
reasoning, bro. Like,
I,
come
I don't know, like,
on.
and then he was on Andrew Schultz. I think he had an interview with Andrew Schultz. I haven't seen it. I saw a clip of it. And Andrew
Yeah.
Schultz was telling him, he's like, bro, nobody really gives a fuck. Like nobody really cares. But like you trying to act all this macho shit and whatever, like that's like nobody fucking cares about that.
No one cares what you, bro. No one's asking the question. Like, really, like, I just think in the next 10 years, I think we're going to come out with a lot more acceptance for this. I think there is going to be a lot more like acceptance for this in the world. I don't think Hollywood is going to have any acceptance coming up soon because being taking steroids doesn't, you are not allowed to be a hero on steroids. That's just factual.
Well, now
Like,
there's a lot of things you can't be as a hero apparently these days.
yeah, well, you can't, but like, and I think
You can't be
steroids is one
you
of them.
can't be like a straight male. You can't like be a man. Like I don't know. There's a lot of things.
Oh, you just had to make this hard to edit, didn't you? Like, you just, you just had to go here. What a shit.
And we'll just
Oh,
go on this part.
we're so close to like an edit free. We're very close to like an edit free. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, it's very, very hard to be like a hero in Hollywood while you're on steroids because like no one will ever accept you. And the whole reason is, I think, is because you still have that previous generation who are all like, and people who don't know who are just gonna be like, oh yeah, he's a cheater, he's a big liar, he's like this, he's like that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's all just bullshit.
I don't know. You're gonna. It'll be certain. There will be a time that'll come where it'll definitely be a lot more normalized. And the time is coming, from the sounds of it. Only in
Yeah,
certain fields.
yeah, and I just also, there's another real thing I just think of like that's delusional is that like we're breaking these world records and everyone is like, Yeah, but he's not on steroids, bro. Like
He's
I
natty,
found
bro.
like CrossFit, for example, was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life, bro.
Aren't they all on roids on CrossFit?
I don't. I'm not gonna say every single person's on roids. I'm just saying, like, this is the formula. If there's money involved, you're getting paid for something, and there's sponsorship involved, and you can make a career out of this, and your whole job, your livelihood depends on your ability to exercise. Would you not do everything it takes to do that? You'd be an idiot not to do everything it takes.
Yeah,
And like saying there was people like before there was a big thing in CrossFit when it first started. I don't know about the opinion now. I don't really follow as much closely anymore. But
yeah.
like before, there was a big thing that people were saying, look, I don't think like steroids is going to help you that much in CrossFit because of like just how it is, which was the most laughable comment. Like, like come on,
Wouldn't it help you
like
loads?
it would make you like it's probably like one of the few things there's the best thing you can take is like steroids. After that, if you sleep, like if you can manage to sleep like perfectly, like that's probably it. Like probably the best, like people say the best steroid after steroids is actually sleeping. Like that's actually
Yeah,
like it's the built-in steroid system
for
we have.
proper like recovery.
Yeah, 100%, bro. That's just my take on all this. And like yeah, this is like all the stigmas attached to it. And you're
Within
right,
within
like
within within our lifetime, for sure. It'll a lot of this shit's gonna go flying out the window.
until the next thing, which I think once steroids gets replaced by like actual like implantations of some sort, I honestly
Yeah.
think in my lifetime, in our lifetime, we're gonna see this where it's like, and if honestly, if someone invents Jack's arms from Mortal Kombat, you know who Jax is, right? Oh,
Yeah.
bro, I'm getting, bro, if there's something that makes me like that, getting them implanted, bro, don't even care.
Oh, for sure.
That's not even a question, bro. At
Not
that
even a
point,
questionable matter.
oh, bro, I'm gonna look like Jax. He's a man. But
And you'll
yeah,
be on roids too.
I, who says Jax wasn't on roids?
He probably was, bro. To be
100%.
lugging those arms around.
No, the best thing, the best person I believe, the person who had the best opinion about steroids was Louis Simmons. May he rest in peace. Right? Louis
Yeah.
Simmons basically didn't accept athletes in his gym who weren't on steroids because he's like,
Who
okay,
weren't on steroids.
yeah, because he's like it's because he has and like he wants to get records, okay, and that's
Yeah.
very admirable because he knows everyone on the fucking sport is on steroids. So he's like, so you're not willing to do everything it takes, and there's no point for me to coach you if you're not going to do every single thing that is required for you to achieve what you need to achieve. No matter how much you train better, no matter how strong you are, if someone with steroids starts and does the same training as you, or even 75% of it,
Oh, they're definitely
there's
better.
no chance you'll ever beat them. It's just not,
True.
it's like, it's ridiculous for you to think that you would.
Unless you're a genetic freak.
No, I don't even think. Well, Louis Simon had genetic freaks, bro. That's the whole thing. Well, he started
Yeah.
off with like truck drivers and shit, and he started getting genetic freaks, and like he broke records with both. So,
Yeah.
and bro, like, bro, and the funniest thing about his programming, bro, is that if you do his actual programming, the best thing is that you cannot actually do his full program, his full methodology that he has, or one of his main most popular methodology. I think it was conjugate method. You cannot do it properly without being on gear.
Damn.
So it's like, well,
So
there you go.
he made
Like
it like a criteria for you,
it
like
was, bro. It's like I'm sorry, but like if you want to get 3,000, if you want to get 3,000 pound totals, bro, that's what you need to do. That's
true.
just it. You don't break 140 world records, bro, by not taking gear. And it's like I'm not saying gear was a portion, was a very small percent. People attribute everything he did was to the steroids. It wasn't. What he did, bro, was like he took the people, he made them. He's like, okay, we're gonna maximize on this. Yalla, now let's get into it.
Yeah.
Come on,
I
like
knew what he was doing.
100%. Can't question that, bro. That's all of it.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's very stigmatized for now. But the day is going to come where it's just everything's going to go flying right out the window, and most of us will be on roids in like 30
And
years.
and the last question, brother, when are you getting on gear?
Yeah, bro, you didn't know I already started, bro. I'm
Oh,
cycling.
you got all that cycle, brah.
My cycle begun, brah.
Oh, brah, yes, that's the one. Well, thank you very much, brother. Thank you for being
All
on
good, my
here.
guy. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it. All right, nice. Oh, just under 30 minutes. Oh, wait, my battery ran out. Let
Time,
me just unplug it. Come
time
on,
for some
battery.
frothage.
Yeah, let's froth. Yalla.